Train, Train the Trainer series. Today we have with us DTM Seema Rani, a passionate Toastmaster for almost 11 years now, has served in most of the roles of executive committee at club level and district level. At district level, she has served as area director, District 98, division director, District 98, program quality director, District 98. And when the district was chartered, she was the first district director of District 125. And of course, she has also served as the past district director. Professionally, she's a vice president, program management for data and analytics in with Mastercard, with about 2 decades of industry experience. Apart from this, as I told you, she being the leader, the first district director of the newly chartered District 125, and she was the first, and the district was the first to get the Medley Distinguished Award. With a big round thunderous applause, please welcome DTM Seema Rani. Over to you, DTM Seema.
Thank you so much, Karnanude, for that warm introduction. And I could see some smiles when they hear my experience out there in the industry and Toastmasters. Hello, Toastmasters and fellow leaders out there. You know me well. I think we all know each other. But before we get started, are you excited for the training or you are forced to get into this training today? Excited. Okay. I will check Shalini's word for that. All right. So we are today gathered here for the first series session of Train the Train segment. Like Sushil has started this new initiative in District 125, which is brilliant. And I'm honored to be speaking today and taking these sessions for all of you. And why you will be a trainer? Because I'm assuming you want to make a difference. But should we assume everything? Probably not. So let me start by asking, why are you here today? Now, what I would like you all to do is put at least one line, minimum one line and maximum 2 lines in the chat and tell me why you are here today. What are you expecting out of this training? And maybe later we'll ask one or two over the call as well. But let's start with the chat. Okay, how to conduct effective training. So Sheila, I'm assuming you're not expecting me to conduct an effective training today, or it's both. Okay, how to conduct effective trainings. Okay. Pawan is writing big paragraph there. Shalini says, I want to be updated with the new ways or material of TI. Okay, brilliant. How to empower executive team members to do their role effectively. All right. To upskill. Learn the specifics of training and how can we make it much more impactful. Brilliant. I think that's the purpose we are going to resolve today. Okay, more people writing. Yes, how to connect with the audience to make an impact. Brilliant. To become a better trainer and learn the psyche of a trainee. Wow, brilliant. Thank you, Padmaj. And I think you already know a lot of tricks around that. So we'll hear you also during the training today. Okay, Tej, Biman, if you're typing, great. If not, you can unmute and quickly share one-liner why you are here in this training today, and then we'll get started. Yes, Tej.
Hello, it's Seema. I just want, I'm here just to understand like the basics of how to be a trainer, as this is my first time doing the role. So I just want to know the do's and don'ts of training.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, Tej. So he's the first time trainer. So he wants to know the basics, do's and don'ts. We'll cover that. Thank you. You can unmute. All right, so we'll get started. I hope I'll try to cover all the expectations here. So I understand where you are. Some of you are already trainer, have conduct a lot of trainings. Some of you are the first time trainer, and there are maybe some nuances you might discover today. And if I don't cover any aspect and you have that experience, please feel free to share that. But my request is, if you want to ask a question or if you want to share experience or you want to add on the point, do raise your hand. You see a raise hand icon on the top of your screen. Use that when you want to add, ask, or share anything. And if you want to just give reaction, then only you click on react, and then you can clap, thumbs ups, or laugh if you find something funny, right? Unless your video is on. All right, with that, let's get started. Because we are Toastmasters, we love to speak. And the basic thing that we need to keep in mind, there is a difference between a speaker when we give a speech, a keynote, versus when we are a trainer. So there might be a lot of things that may be similar. For example, we are leading a group. There is a group of people sitting in front of us. We want to present some information to the group, either through speech or the training, and we must prepare in both scenarios so that we understand before we get onto the stage. At the same time, there are some differences. You see on this circle, you can read quickly, but and then I'll show you the next slide what I meant by the technically difference between speaker and a trainer. Okay, so why a speaker and trainer are different? If you see the purpose of a speaker is to just inform, or sometimes to persuade, or sometimes to entertain the audience. But in terms of trainer, you are giving a training and then you expect that behavior of the audience will change after the training because they will apply something new, they will do something different. In terms of style, mostly in the speaker scenario, it's one-way communication. You might have a little bit of interaction, but you are doing most of the talking. But in training aspect, it'll be two-way communication. You always want participants to participate and learn by doing things as well. Method, in speaking, we know how we conduct a speech, right? You tell them what you're going to tell them in the opening. You tell them by detailed example stories, and then you conclude by telling them what you told them already. But that's not the case in trainer scenario, where you finally understand what they already know. Like I understood some of your trainer for the first time, some of you have done it before. Then you understand what they want to know, which is why I asked you that first question. And then you try to fill in the gaps, and we'll see how do you do that today. And then in terms of tools and methods, humor, anecdotes, vocabulary, you can use that in training as well. But most important aspect would be the variation, the role players, exercise, case studies, demos, questions, all of that get used in training more than when you're a speaker. And finally, how do you get evaluated? In speaker scenario, you get applause, but in training scenario, my feedback would be if your behavior change, if you conduct the training effectively as socialists expect, in let's say in the TLTP or in the other scenarios that you get opportunity at. All right, I'll take a pause here. Any questions? Understood the difference, or is there any question in anybody's mind, or somebody wants to add another difference between a speaker and a trainer? So even if you're a excellent speaker, you may want to tweak some things when you're as a trainer on the stage. Okay, let's do this case study. I request everyone to read it. Well, I'll go to the next slide. Okay. If this was in-person training, I would have given a handouts to read this case study rather than putting it on the screen because it's a lot of material to read on the screen. But because we are virtual, so it is the best appropriate way to make you all read at the same time. If everyone has read the case study, can you start raising hand and tell me what do you learn out of this case study, and do you think the trainer should behave differently here? Okay, let's go with Colonel Uday first.
Yeah, thank you, Seema. First, he's conducting the training. He should not have come 5 minutes early. He should have come early and ensured that whatever is required for the training, for example, the projector and everything is in place. So it is
Okay.
recommended at least the trainer comes about 15-20 minutes in advance, get
Okay.
accustomed to the place. That is
Okay.
one.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Rajan?
I think preparation is the key. You need to completely plan for our 2 hours, how you are going to start, how you are going to end, how you are going to take the questions before or at the end. So all that should be in your mind before you start talking to people.
Okay, great. Thank you. Shalini?
I think the session was a one-way communication. There was no interaction, and I don't think the one thing that we learn in Toastmaster is know your audience. I don't think that was implemented at all. He just came and did, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Another great point. Thank you, Shalini. Rajendra, you want to add something more? Okay.
No, I was trying to lower it down.
Absolutely. So you all got it right. So first, you should not come just on the last minute. You should come in advance. Even today was the online meeting. I still try to log in half an hour before, and I realized only when the organizer starts, then only I get into the meeting. So I did my video check, otherwise on a Teams tool, because it's the first time people might be joining on the Teams, and how my screen will look, what background I want to use, is my mic working, all of that I checked on Teams. And I did join 10 minutes before, thanks to the organizer. They also started the meeting in advance, 15 minutes in advance. So I did join, I did check my audio, video, screen sharing. We even tested the recording, all of that. So you cannot just join and then assume that all of things will be ready. So all 3 points brilliantly done. Come in time, come prepared, and it should not be one-way communication. Now you know what are the gaps, and you all need to keep in mind these gaps should not be there when you are a trainer. So let me start by asking what kind of logistic you would need while you are conducting a training in person, in TLT. But let's get specific. So my training material is general, but we'll take examples of TLTP to start with. Okay. So now let's say one of you are a president trainer, training for president room. One of you are a trainer in VP education, PPR, secretary. Some of you are doing the big gathering for TCP contest. What all logistics you would need? Raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat. As a trainer, what all material you would need? Murlidhar, are you trying to speak? Okay, Shalini, go ahead.
No, Seema. No, Seema. But if you're asking questions, I will. I think first is the content. Which training you are going, you should have. We should be prepared with that particular content. That's very important. And the contest.
Okay, thank you.
Contest to the content that you have.
Okay.
So that you draw the attention to the audience. So this would be my things that I will be preparing as a material.
Okay. So I'm asking also about the logistics that you would need to get ready. For example, this person was running with the cardboard, projectors, and all of that. So Shalini, you were trying to say something?
So I think somebody has already put it. So maybe a laptop and a screen where you have the presentation and you want to show it on a huge screen. Apart from that, if the room is huge, depending on the room, maybe we will need a mic and a sound system. So that everybody can hear the trainer properly. As in the case study, we saw that they were not able to see the screen. Maybe people sitting behind will not be able to hear you if it's a huge room. So the audio and the visuals and the audio logistics will be required. I have not seen any handouts in the recent TLTPs or any of the even before COTP that we used to have. But it would be a nice way to give a handout to all the ExCom members, right? So maybe that's something, but I've not seen in many years of the training. Yeah.
Okay, Brilliant. So screen, projector, content, slide advancer, somebody's written, clicker, hands out, AVs, proper lighting. Anything else? As a trainer, somebody else has used somewhere else. Maybe you have not seen in TLTP. Props. What kind of props, Pawan? Yes, Uday, please go ahead.
If you want a whiteboard with adequate markers and a duster.
Absolutely. Whiteboard, markers. And when he say adequate markers, there are different type of markers. If you use flip charts, which I love using, I cannot have my training without flip charts if anyone has attended my training before in person. So you have different markers for flip charts, you have different kind of markers for whiteboard, and different materials you would like to use. If you like drawing, you may want to use a specific kind of markers as well. So I hear a trainer speaking out there or there. So thank you. Knowing the logistics in advance is very would required. Do you need a lectern table to keep your material, laptop to stand behind, projector, clicker, AV setup, whiteboard, flip chart, and markers specific to them, pen notepads for the participants, certificates if you're distributing, material, whether it's related to role player or the content, like some of you mentioned. Are they going to give any pre-work for the session? So all of these are logistics. Now, why I'm listing it here is, and some of you saw in the case study, that guy was running late and trying to collect what is there. You need to know how you're going to conduct your training. Once you have the content, like Murli mentioned, you prepare your content and you have in your mind how I'm going to conduct my session. Am I going to just go through slides? Am I going to use the paper to write something? Am I going to use whiteboard? Am I going to give them some exercise for which I would need them to have pen, paper? And if you need all of that, just letting somebody know about it, whether it's a coordinator, PQD team, somebody should know that you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 logistics item so that they can arrange. So having it noting down in advance, giving them a notice in advance that I need this material for my training, plus going in the room at least 30 minutes. I would say for this training, at least 30 minutes. I usually, when I take my workshops, I go even sometime more than 1 hour in advance, and I'll tell you why. But going at least 30 minutes in advance, checking all the materials, checking settings, checking audio, video, projectors, lighting, even the seating arrangement. Like Shalini mentioned, if the room is big and your audience is spread across and you don't have a mic, then what? You want the seating accordingly. If you have a mic and you want round table discussion, you want people to sit in an auditorium setup or in a normal setup, you need to decide that as a trainer because you are going to conduct the training. So checking that 30 minutes in advance so that if something is missing, you have that 30 minutes to get things arranged. I'll give you an example. I was conducting a training a few years back in person. It was a 2 days workshop. I did reach 1 hour and 15 minutes in advance. It was somewhere, the venue was in a hotel where we had a participant coming from outside. 1 hour, 15 minutes fell short for me because there was a big issue with the AV setup. When I did my testing, everything was, fine with the projector, video running and all of that, but the audio was not working, the mic was not working, and they had to call somebody from, mechanic side early in the morning. My training was supposed to start at 9. So when 8:15, I realized that it's not working. I told them they had to run and get those arrangements. And 9:15 is when we could actually start. So it took them 1 hour to get those arrangements done. So that's why as a trainer, if you know your material in advance, give that notification. Don't assume that, Uday sir is gonna brilliantly arrange everything, which he's gonna do. So there will be this notepad or there will be whiteboard or there will be a projector for sure, but double check that in advance. I need 1, 2, 3. Do you have that? If not, can you please arrange? And once you have made the request, you got confirmation, reach the venue from your training time at least 30 minutes in advance in the room and then check everything else. I'll take a pause. Any question? Did I miss anything on the screen that you might think you would need for your training? So that's a reminder for others. Okay. All right. The second aspect of a training is how adult run. And now you all are adults, right? Maybe I'm going to tell you a lot of things in next 1 hour. Will you remember everything? Or are you going to use all aspect of my training that I'm going to conduct today? And if I can get some videos on, that'll be a good feedback for me. If not, I need to hear back the audio responses or thumbs ups or something. So all good. So all of you are adults. How adults, get interested in your training would be involving them in the planning process. What is planning here? That what are we going to learn and why? So that's why the first question was that to understand why you are here. And I got few answers. One of them did not match with what I thought will be required for this training. So I'm going to cover that as well, though it was not in my planned session. So understanding that planning, involve them at the start of the training to understand why we are doing this in the planning session, so they understand the purpose. Unless you have the purpose in hand, you might not be interested in the training. Okay, like I said in the starting, it could be that you want to learn how to do a training, or it's a mandatory thing for you to attend the training of train the trainer, so you can actually conduct the training out there. The second aspect of this would be relating material to their experience. Why? Why should my material match with your experience as a trainer, first time trainer or a fifth time trainer? Why do you think my material should match with your expectation, with your experience? Anyone?
Can relate with experience and then we can tell stories.
Sorry, your audio is not very clear to me. Can you say it again, Asaya?
I said we can use our experience and connect with stories to the related topic.
Yeah, so you can connect it better when you have experience stories related to your experience. Sorry. And that's what happened. Share their experience, because when I share my experience, if one of you have a similar experience or the material is related to what you have experienced in past, you'll be able to share yours as well. Have them identify a need to learn. If I don't make it a point that you need to learn all of this to be a good trainer, why would you even be interested to be in this training? Right? Are you still okay to continue this session? Are you okay to be learning this today, how to be a good trainer, effective trainer, or we are good? We can close the session.
What? Is your question that you want to close the session?
No. My question is, are you still interested in this session? If yes,
Yeah.
why?
Yes.
Why?
Of course. Like I said,
What?
right, irrespective of how many times I have done this training, like I have trained in TLTP before, but that was like last year or maybe last to last year. I want to revise everything so that, on that day I am perfect. Because let's say, even if I have 20 EXCOM members in the room with me, I want them to have the best experience and learn, and, every minute counts. So I have to upskill myself or revise, and then maybe TI has something new that I'm not aware of, which I would like to learn from you. So yeah,
Great.
These are my
Great.
reasons. Yeah.
So what I just did was I asked you a question and I gave you an option. Are you still interested to continue, or you want me to stop here? Now you are making a decision. If you are interested, you will stay back. If you're not interested, you can drop. That, oh, I don't know. I don't think she is going to cover anything new. Whatever she has talked so far is what I know, and maybe I don't need to attend this training. Because adults like to make their own decision, you need to give those options during the training as well. Okay, so this was a question, a tricky question to make a point for the next session here, that you need to ensure they are having that quest to learn and they want to stay in the training when you make it the point that they want to learn it, and not just that because you want to deliver it. Okay, and then give them practical answers for today's problem, just like what Shalini mentioned. If I give her answers which are not relevant for today's information in today's trend, what changed, what doesn't change, she might not be interested. So they need information which they can apply in the real time scenario in today's or daily scenarios which they face at their club. So when you're conducting a training, let's say for president, you don't want to just give, oh, this is the mission, this is what you do, these are responsibility, and that's it. If you just walk through the slide, this may not give them that practical experience. This may not help them solve their daily needs. So what you need to do, how you will, what you will include in your president training to make it a point that you are giving them a practical answers for the daily problems that club might face at their meeting. Anybody? Just assume you are giving a training in president role. Yes, Tej.
Can I say? So,
Yeah.
like, we need to know the challenges faced to a community club and also to a corporate club. And
Correct.
what else, how, as a president, and you using your own experience as a president, how can you tackle that challenge and give a solution to a corporate club and also to a community club?
Brilliant. So if you share some challenges with them or a case study like we did earlier. So giving them case studies, giving them to write their challenges, and then either you share experience where you can help them suggest the solving those questions for them, or somebody else in the room can also do that. You may not be, knowing everything, right? So you may not have faced that challenge, but if another club has faced and they have solved the challenge, they can also share the experience. So this is very important that you make sure you are handling their day-to-day scenarios, practical tips for their problems, rather than just giving a theory which may or may not be relevant for them or which they can just read anyway. All right. So it's very important. They should be able to apply that information when they go back from the training. What does that mean? You don't need just only slide. You need other material like use cases, questions, challenges, exercise, role play, and other things. And recognize for ideas, answers, and questions. So somebody sharing an idea, acknowledge that. Somebody giving an answer, somebody giving a questions, acknowledge and tell them great question, great answers, or otherwise, because people feel motivated to stay participative in the training of yours. I'll take a pause and see, is there any other way that you think adults would learn or something else you should include in the training? First, you ensure there is a purpose by understanding the goal of that training. Second, you share experience. People will share their experience as well. Ensure they're making their own decision to stay in the training and continuously making the decision to stay back. And then, of course, you need to give practical answers and ensure people stay motivated by encouraging them for their ideas, questions, and answers. Anything else? Yes, Sushil.
I think what we need to recognize is that forgetting is actually part of training also, and
Absolutely.
making some exercises, giving that experience of what exactly they are going to prepare for, that small role play or workshop where they can express and engage with the topic at hand. I think that can be one good input.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how they can practically get answers? It could be through use cases, case studies, role play, making groups, and then making them do the group activity as well, so that they learn from each other and also everyone get participative as well. So all of that is important, but ensure you understand the gap analysis. Don't assume anything, and don't think that only one solution will work for all. So every challenge, every club might be different. So ensure you listen to them fully and then provide the solutions or answers. And if you don't have, it's okay to acknowledge that I don't have the right answer or maybe all the answer. If anybody in the room can share, great. If nobody wants to share the answer or able to tackle the challenge, acknowledge, write it down, and make sure you tell them that you will revert back on this challenge. And then you go out, share with other experienced Toastmasters, and definitely go back to that person and give the answers to their challenge out there. Okay. All right. So what are the 5 W's that you need to keep in mind? Earlier said, somebody also mentioned, know your audience, right? Who is the audience? You will know, is it president, VP education, or is the entire audience when you're a DCP session or a contest related sessions? You need to understand the variation in the audience as well. Some people might be very new to the Toastmasters. Some could be just 1 year old. They might know what is contest. They might know what is DCP, but they don't know the details. And there might be some experts out there. So you need to cater to all kind of audience. You cannot give your session assuming, oh, people would know, right, what is DCP, and then let me just go ahead. Give a full form of DCP first. Don't just assume people would know what is DCP. Give full form, give history, give why it is used, and then go to the topic. Then that brings to your what part. What are you going to cover? What is the topic? What is the content? So we'll talk about content in detail, but you need to know what are you going to cover and then where. I know you all got the location venue. For example, it's on day one, it's happening in Infosys and this location, and on second day, this location. But specific for you, your location also matters. So as soon as you reach the main venue, you need to go and check for the venue from which you are going to deliver the training as well. That is your where here. And then when, the time frame. Mostly we get 2 hours, but is that 2 hours enough for you? You want to spend first for introduction, later for introduction, Q&A. You need to arrange the module accordingly once you know the time frame. And then why, the objective of the session that you are going to fulfill. So once you come out the training, what objective you wanted to fulfill versus what audience felt or the participants felt they fulfill the objective should be same and not different. I'll take a pause. Everyone understands what's the who gonna be, what the what, where, when, and why, or do we have a challenge or question here? Are we good with 5 Ws? Okay. In when you're preparing, make sure when you write down the objectives, you also divide your modules also like that. We'll talk about that in a minute, but this is very important that you know and maybe write down it before your training once you're prepared. Okay, now you have to prepare your content. Let's come to the real-time scenario. How you will prepare the content. Let me stop sharing for a minute and come to just for the audience. Anyone? What is your strategy to prepare your content for the training? Okay, I'm gonna pick Madhura. How do you think you're gonna prepare for the training?
I would just briefly list down the basic topics that I would like to cover, like 5 to 6 heads which I want to cover, and then dive deep into each topic, creating a subtopic that what points exactly should be covered in that particular area. And for each topic, if I can provide a case study or an illustration or something practical, that's how I can prepare the whole content.
Okay. Anybody else? Anyone who's going to give one of the XCOM training, I would like to understand how you're going to prepare. Yes,
can I go ahead?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So
Pawan,
first,
I'll come to you as well.
Yeah. So the way I did it last time and this time also around, what I'm planning is, first of all, we'll have a very quick introduction session, and also asking them why they have picked up a particular role. Okay. Just knowing their interest. And then I will roll out the agenda as to what all things that we are going to cover in this session and what we want to achieve at the end of it. And then, of course, the content part of it.
How you are going to get the content is my question. Where are you going to get the content for the training?
Yeah, so there are references from Leadership Handbook where it talks about roles and responsibility. There are task-specific information which I'm going to list out. And then, of course, I'm going to add certain things out of my experience of playing that role. So some practical experience. We are also going to cover certain scenarios if they happen to encounter certain scenarios, which are again, part of Leadership Handbook as well. But some practical scenarios that we have experienced in our clubs and other clubs, I'm going to cover on that as well. So, and then some of the best practices that I was able to put in at least in my club, I'm going to share some experience about best practices. And then some templates, some documents that really help me to function in that role very smoothly. I'm going to share them as well.
Great. So you're going to use TI content, which is available for the training for the specific role. You're going to add your experience. You're going to add the best practices, the template they can readily use in day-to-day club functions. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you, Bimit. Pawan?
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Pawan.
Yeah, thank you. So what I would do, how I would start with, after a quick introduction, I would first, define what is the objectives of, this training and what would they be able to do after completing this training. So once I give this clarity, I would like to understand with an interaction that where do most of my audience stand, because most of them I'll, although they are PRs, VP PRs. So I would like to know how experienced they are and where do they stand. So then all the content that I would have already prepared, the key points that would help them reach their goal.
Okay. So my question is, sorry to cut you here, Pawan. So my question is how you will prepare your content, not how you will deliver it. So I'll come to the delivery part. So right now, between today and the training day, you will prepare your content, right? Yeah. Considering all these points. So how you're going to prepare your material is what I'm asking.
Okay. So mostly it could be based out of the TI rules and regulations, a few case studies where they can get involved in, and question and answer module is what I will be covering.
So you'll prepare. So you have a standard module to pick up from, or you prepare your own module?
Both. I mean, I would like to mix both of them.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Thank you. Murli, are you trying to say something? Okay.
No, my mic's.
Mic got unmuted. That's fine. So yeah, so you all have TI material available, which is definitely your starting point. So you start with that material, and then you will add something from your side as well. I'm just assuming PQD. You're gonna check with Kanalu there. We are okay to customize the material right here so that people can add their own experience, the exercises they want, etc.
Yeah, what we are going to do, thank you, Seema, for that. What we are going to do after this session, we are going to tell the participants to give their deck by Monday. We have got some standardized deck, the earlier deck, last year decks, we are going to prepare it. We want to add the decks which are there. We want to customize it also a little bit, but not too much, but so that the main material content is there. So we are going to give a little free hand to the trainers to let them know what is there rather than giving our deck, you just do this. So that is where we want to try to do.
Brilliant. So there is some material which is available. You'll be giving, they can customize and they will give back the deck to you for review or, just keep it centralized. Yes, Rohan?
Yeah, so adding on to what Colonel sir said, so we'll be, once now that the trainers are finalized and we have locked them, so by tomorrow, end of the day, me and Colonel sir will review the basic decks, and then we'll be sending it across by email or by WhatsApp or by both the channels.
Okay.
And then we'll be, giving at least 2 to 3 days, and then we'll have a word key for. But both of us were on the same opinion that please get your decks approved by the PQD team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because later on, let's avoid the goof ups. Let's avoid the, let's all be on the same page as a District 125 as a collective team. That's why we have 2 to 3 days, and once we have the review of that, we are good to go for the training. Yeah.
Great. I think that's brilliant. So all of you have a lot of experience. All of you are going to have the basic content, which is already available on TA website. However, I understand PQD team and training manager will provide the material, which is already customized, available also with us, which is great. It will save your time. And once you have that, you go through it, you understand what you want to customize based on your experience. Like Viman sir mentioned, adding best practices, templates, whatever you want to give back to the community so that they can go and use it practically. So that is something on you. So while you prepare your content, what things like Madhura mentioned, you have your key points. Okay, you don't have to memorize all the content, but at the same time, remember you should have gone through the entire material at least once, and if possible, multiple times. That's my advice. And then, of course, you will know the flow. If you have gone through the material multiple times, you will know how it will flow. And then another tip that some of the trainer have used in past is they keep the visual clues out there. And what do you mean by visual clues? For example, you can have icons on the chart. For example, I can make, let's just try doing it live. I can insert okay, I'll just do this insert here. And this will okay, not here. Sorry about that. I want to add it here. Okay, if you see, I added a cloud picture, right? Now this may give me a clue that I want people to think. I want to do a brainstorm session. I want to do a group exercise. So I can have something like this as a visual clue on my slides. Okay, this is the time for case study. This is the time for asking question. This is the time for brainstorm, or this is the time to just, have a whiteboard up on the screen now and put the slides off. So you can have visual clues that will keep you reminding also that, oh, you wanted to do something here. Sometimes we have a lot of plans in our head. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that also, I want to do this. But after training, we realize I missed that point, I forgot while I was covering this. So you can have visual clues as well for yourself on the slides while you're preparing. So the deck can stay standard, which is District 125 approved, because we want to ensure the guidelines are same and consistent. But at the same time, you need to have your key points. Should know your flow, and you will know that only when you have gone through the material multiple times, and then you can add your visual clues. I'll take a pause. Is there any other suggestion around content, how you should prepare for the content, and now how you should practice for the content? Just to mention, I got 3 PDFs, 3 PPTs to conduct this training. Unfortunately, I did not use any of those, but I made my own material, what I think is best suited for this audience today, because everything was not relevant and time wouldn't be enough. But you make your decision. Once you have the base content to refer to, you can make your own decision how you want to present that. Okay, because you are the trainer out there. All right, variety in the session. Can somebody tell me what all methods we have used so far in this training in last 40 minutes, other than slides?
Questions. You used a lot of questions.
Questions. Okay. So questionnaire is another method I use. What else?
Yeah, involving our audience and getting ideas from them.
Okay, getting ideas from the audience. All right. What else?
Case study.
There was a case study. Sorry, Vimal, go ahead.
When you don't get a response from audience, you pick the people.
I pick the people. I ask the question direct. So when I'm not getting very good. So far, maybe not too many, but I did use the slides. I did use a case study. If in person, it brings a different environment. In online, it brings a little bit more like a slide, but then it was a case study. And then questionnaires. What are the other method? Use cases. You can have group studies or group discussions kind of variation that you can bring to session. So slides, experience, use cases, questionnaires, role play, which I haven't mentioned here, but I think I missed out that. But adding a role play also is a great idea to add. And I think you must add that. Most of the XCOM contest training will make use of role play. What kind of role play exercise you can do in your training? For example, you are doing, let's say, Sergeant at Arms training. How will you do a role play there? Any ideas? You are in a Sergeant at Arms room. You're giving training for a Sergeant at Arms role. What kind of role play can you conduct here? Before even you tell that this is how you should behave.
Maybe just talk around, like organizing a meeting and trying to identify role players and telling them, or maybe a scenario that you can play out.
So give me a scenario. What kind of scenario should I play in a Sergeant at Arms room?
So maybe the meeting room is not set up. He's assigned at the sergeant room, sergeant arms, and there would be certain role players who might be certain members who are there. So we can just try to manage that, and how can we set up the room is one of the things that it is. And second would be a scenario around managing an event like a contest or a milestone meeting. So from a SAR perspective, what are the logistical points that we can share is something like we can look into.
Okay. Thank you. That's a great scenario that you are a Sergeant at Arms. You are in the room now. Meeting is about to start, but room is not ready. There are few members in the room. What will you do? Okay. Thank you. Rohan?
Yeah, I was just about to say that it's a very weird scenario. Mostly it doesn't happen, but if you are just there and a guest start walking in and there's no other Toastmaster, what is the? Many times it happens that people start panicking. Oh no, guests arrive, but the XCOM doesn't. So
okay. So let's do this role play very quickly. Vinod is the guest who just walked in the meeting because I know he walked in some time back. Rohan, you are the sergeant at arm in the room. What is the first thing that you will do now?
I'll ask them to take their seats and
No, you do.
just
It's a
enjoy
role
the
play. It's a role play. Vinod is a guest. You are the sergeant at arm of the meeting. This is a club meeting. Go.
Mhm. Vinod sir, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Hi, Rohan.
Good, good. Yeah, hi. So I'm the sergeant at arms for our club. And by the way, sergeant at arms is a position where I'm one of the member who from the club who runs the club, right? So just have a seat. We are setting up the meeting tone, and don't worry about the timings. We have the Toastmasters promise to all the members that we start on time, we stay on time, right? So just sit down and just enjoy the meeting till that time. I'm just setting it up. Once I set up, I'll come to you. Just give me 10 minutes by the time I'm
Okay.
setting it up. Okay.
Okay.
If you do you
Seema
need
is love.
anything? Do you need any water to refreshments or something like that?
Okay, I'm good
You
with.
need any water refreshments? I'll
I
just
think he's good.
if you are okay,
He's
I'm
good.
good.
if you are
I'm good.
you're all good, all good. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect,
All right.
great.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rohan and Vinod. Now, can somebody tell me, except for Vinod, Vinod and Rohan will not talk now. Others, please tell me what Sergeant Adam could have done differently here or what he did right here. I want to need one point. One he did right here, what he could have done differently. Please raise hand and give me those points quickly. Yes, Sushil.
Sergeant at arms could have inquired about Vinod and gave Vinod chance to speak. That where exactly is coming from, how he learned about Toastmaster meeting. Is this his first meeting? Try to build
Okay.
up a rapport, connect.
All right. Okay. And what he did right?
I think he made the assurance saying that don't worry, everything is going to be perfectly smooth. And he also inquired whether he requires any help or support. So
Or
providing
water or
the
something.
logistic
Yeah.
orientation.
Okay. Wait, thanks, Sushil. Madhura?
It's almost the same thing. He communicated very well what was the meeting about, when it will start. He will need to wait for 10 minutes. So he was communicated appropriately. So he was comforted.
Yeah.
And
Great.
same thing, he could have asked some questions to Vinod to for allow him to speak. That's it.
Great. So I think what happened here, because Rohan and Vinod are good friends, they know each other for a long time. Rohan didn't realize that he's a guest whom he's coming for the first time in the meeting. So he did not even ask his question. He rightly said, "Hi Vinod, how are you?" Right. So I think that's where the gap started building. But when it's a role play, maybe this time we could have given better instruction. This is a first time meeting. Rohan is a sergeant at arm. Vinod is a guest, and he's a first time you don't know him. Maybe I could have given that better context. Then Sergeant Adam should ask the question, how you come to know, are you coming for the first time, why you are here, all those things that we ask a guest, and then making them comfortable, which he did. Giving information about the meeting, what's going to happen, we're going to start on time, just settle down if you need water. So everything else he did was right once you know the guest. So I think knowing the guest part was little different. He could have done on that. So this is how you can do some role play in your training. Build those scenarios, give a context setting, and then let them play the role. For example, he walking in the room was one scenario. Vinod mentioned, okay, you are the sergeant at arm, you are in the room is not set up, 5 minutes to meeting, there are other members, what you will do? The member should act. Can you come and help me? Can you do this for me? Can we do it together? All those scenarios they can come up with. But that means you also need to think what all will happen, so that once a scenario they have played, you can give them what went well and what they could do differently as well. This is how you will do a role play exercise in your session. And I think you must do some role plays in each and every training room. Okay. What else? Question technique. What kind of question techniques are available? There is direct, overhead, open, and close. So direct is when you ask a person, one particular person. For example, when I picked Madhura, so I'm asking a direct question to one person. Only that person will give an answer. And in which scenario you should use direct question technique? when there are shy people in the room, when people who are not speaking. I'm asking question and some of you have given answers. Madhur has spoken, Sushil have spoken, Biman, Pavan, Tej, Uday, Vinod. But then there are people who have not spoken even once. So next time if I have to ask question, I may give a direct question to the person who have not spoken so far. That's where you use direct question technique. When you use overhead, when you ask the entire group, because you want to initiate a discussion. Overhead question is when you say, okay, guys, tell me what is right and what is wrong. Rohan said something, Vinod will say something, and then if they disagree also, they can continue talking. It will initiate a discussion. But as a trainer, you need to keep in mind when you have an overhead question asked and people started discussing, it should not become overlapping on each other. At the same time, it should not reach to an argument point. You need to ensure you have the control on the discussion. That is your main role as a trainer once you ask a overhead question. When you ask an open question, means you are asking for opinion, and different responses can come, which just came now also. And no question is no answer is right or wrong, but you are trying to get that into discussion or subjective mode. And a closed question is when you ask a factual question where only one answer is correct. So it's a closed question. People can just give a one word or one line answer, which should be right or wrong. So that people will use this as a scenario. They will remember those kind of things, especially if they give a wrong answer. They will remember what was the right answer and so on and so forth. Just keep in mind these 4 techniques. In few minutes from now, we'll reach to a point where I will ask what kind of question technique you will be using in this scenario. So direct, open, overhead, closed are the different techniques. Are we good? Any questions so far?
Yeah, we're good.
Give me a thumbs up if you're okay. All right. Thank you. Now, in terms of content, of course, you'll be using slides and you might use flip charts. Like I said, I use flip charts a lot. So some of the things that you need to keep in mind because you want to make your content count is whenever you're using a flip chart or whiteboard for that matter, when you're writing, you should write in blocks or capital letters. This is highly recommended for trainers because when you start writing in your normal handwriting, it may or may not be recognizable, especially when people like me also write. So trainers, it's very recommended, highly recommended that you write in bold or capital letters, and so that it can be seen at the last of the room. Sometimes we start writing, we don't realize we are writing very small and it's not visible to the audience at the back. So make sure you're writing big enough. Do a check like we do audio video check. Do a check if it's visible towards the end, and make sure you're writing in a capital letter. It's advised, not mandatory thing. Don't talk while writing. You may ask a question, people are saying something, you can write, but when you are talking, you're writing, it may or may not be a good idea. Sometimes you want to draw while you are saying something, it's fine, but it's advised that you don't talk while you're writing because it may be distracting for you as well as for the audience. Write only the key points. Don't try to write everything what is being said. Just think what is they're trying to make. Just a short form or a key point. Don't write everything on the board or flip chart. And once you're done discussing whatever you have written on the flip chart, flip it. Or if you're on a whiteboard, you remove it, use a duster and just dust it off. And don't stand in front of the flip chart, whiteboard, or the screens while you're writing or while you're covering that material. That is very important. I can probably show you something, how to do it as well correctly. So when you're writing on a flip chart, how you should stand and write. Let me, the sound is not important, but let me, so if you can see a video playing here.
This speech bubble out of here, thought bubble here. God, of course, I can't use this anymore now because everybody's going to use it and people will be going, oh, we've seen that.
You see how he was writing there? He was standing on the side and drawing or writing. This is how you
Lots
should
of different ways you can use this speech bubble out of here.
You should not stand in front of the flip chart or the whiteboard or the screen while you're writing or talking about it. Clear? If I ask you a question, which yes or no, you can give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
All right. Wait, or you can unmute or you can switch on your videos. That will be the best way to get the feedback here.
Yes.
All right. So this is how you avoid standing in front of the material that you're trying to use. Okay, let's get back to the slides. How about visual presentation like PPT that I'm using? Be sure everyone in the audience can see it. Right now you all can because it's virtual, but in person, you ensure the lighting is correct. The text is as per the lighting. For example, if the background is light, you have the dark text. If your background is dark, you have the light white color or other text. So it's anyways visible, as well as it's visible towards the end. If need to adjust the light, zoom in, zoom out, we can do that. Limit the amount of text material. Like I said, when I had that case study, I had to do it because we did not have the hands out. But at the same time, don't try to have too much of text on the one slide, or try to keep it one topic at a time. Don't try to mix multiple topics on the same slide. And when you talk to the audience, not to the visual. So don't just keep looking at the slides and keep talking like, oh, okay, here is the projector, this is what you do, and keep looking at the slides. Look at the audience, right? If you know your material, you would know what you're doing. The best way is having a prompt screen in front of you. Usually you have seen people have that monitor on the big stage. What you can do is you can use your laptop as a prompter for you. You can have laptop placed in such a way it is in front of you and in the front of the audience and not on your side. So if you do that and you have space between you and your laptop and the screen is behind, it's very much comfortable. Then when you have a clicker, you are changing, you know what slide is on the screen. You don't have to look back and looking at the slide all the time. Okay, don't overdo slides, which means just don't do everything with slides. Do something without slides as well. And the key is rehearse. If you know your material, you know what slide's going to come next, how much time you're going to spend there, you will have a easy time and you will not have to rush through everything. Are we good? Okay, what kind of audience you can have in the room? Let me stop sharing for a while. What kind of audience you usually get in the room? Different type of participants or different kind of audience?
Corporate members from corporate club, like office bearers on corporate from community club.
Okay. So you have a different type of members in the training room for TLTP from corporate and community. Okay. Odessa?
We may have some experienced members who may have about 8-10 years of experience. Some members who are relatively new, and could we have some members who may be about 7-8 years, but doing the XCOM role for the first time. And we have multiple members who have done this role for n number of times.
Great. So very good scenario. You have somebody who is first time Toastmaster in last 1 year, first time XCOM. You can have somebody who is experienced Toastmasters like me, but a first time in the role. For example, I'm a Toastmaster for 11 years, but doing secretary for the first time this year. You can have somebody who's done secretary for multiple times and still in the room. And you can have other scenarios. Now, what is the challenge with this kind of audience? Now, you must have heard difficult audience or different type of audience. So what will this kind of mix bring up? Vinod.
So each one has a different set of viewpoints on like how to go about it. So I think when we are trying to present, we have to balance it and put it in a way that is relatable to each and every section of the audience or type of audience.
Okay. Any other thoughts? What kind of audience you get in the room? When I say difficult audience, some people talk too much, some people don't talk at all. Then what are the other kind of audience?
Some people will be experts to utilize their expertise.
Okay. Some people are expert and they want to show that they're experts. Okay. Udesa?
Some people want to hijack the session. They don't let the trainer speak and then to take the trainer on the tangent.
Okay. So people try to hijack the training by telling they know it all and they just continue to add. All right. Kunal, you were trying to say something as well?
Yes, Kanu covered my point.
Okay. So you have different kind of audience and how you will deal with them as a trainer. That is one of the most important things. So you have to deal with different kind of participant. Sometimes we call them difficult because if you're not able to handle them, it may hamper your training. So you have talkative types. You know, these people are even if the answer is one-liner, they can easily take 5 minutes to cover that point. Have you all experienced such people? Yeah. So I can tell this answer, all of this slide in one line, but I'm gonna cover, let's say, 5 minutes. But people tell, oh, this happened with me, that happened with me, I know this, and people do that, and all of that, they will come. So how you as a trainer can intervene and ensure they do not keep on talking throughout the training and sometimes even hijack, is to divert their energy. Maybe you can give them an active listener role in the meeting. Once you identify that, if you know that in advance, you can do that in advance. If you don't know, you can give that them a role, maybe active listening role, or ask them to make some notes for the, if later on people are giving good ideas, suggestions, just make notes, so their energy and their attention gets diverted and they just don't focus on talking, right? And even sometimes you don't want to be rude and you really want to give them chance to speak as much as possible, frequently and again, then you just ask them a question which is little closed ended question. You remember there are different kind of questions. So tell them that I'll come to you, and then whenever you're asking that person a question, give a closed question rather than an open question, because that may lead to a subjective answer which can any be longer. Any example anybody would like to share where you have encountered such person and you really handle it better or in a different way, rather than giving them a active listening role or giving them a closed end question? Yeah. Then you have a silent type, like just, there are people who are shy or reserved. They don't want to share any comments or respond to any question. So encourage them to participate, right? And whenever they say something, support their ideas and try to ask them the open-ended question. Like I said, for the talkative ones, you ask the closed-ended question. For these kind of people, you ask the open-ended question. So they participate in the meeting. For example, I'm just going to ask somebody now to share his or his experience. GTM Mohan, have you ever experienced both in the same room, a talkative person and a silent person? And how did you handle it?
Yes. Yeah, I was doing president training. So I could see, and there was no room. In a sense, that day, the rooms were less. So we were in a garden and the presidents were all clubs. Of course, that time the number of clubs were around 15. So the crowd is very less.
Right.
And some people were, of course, the audience. I could see Bina Mandrekar and Manish Kulkarni, all these things. So these people were talking a lot and some of them are talking less. So I just managed to give some questions to other and manage some more. And the way it was in a garden, so we just had an interactive session and
very nice.
People enjoyed it. There was no slides, but still I could cover everything.
Okay, brilliant. I think that's a great experience also that you shared, that what if logistics doesn't work? How you manage? You manage because you know your material, because you know your audience, you know what they need to know. You cover it with interactions and role play. Thank you so much, Mohan, for covering, saying that. You see, I don't think any one of us heard Mohan so far. So I asked an open-ended question where he could share his experience rather than saying yes or no answer, which is very important when you're covering silent type of people in or audience in your room. Then you have crab. I do not like the name, but this is what is written in the materials. I put it like that. These people are, they find fault with everything. Everything is wrong. Either the material is wrong, and they will chit chat in the back saying slides are nonsense. I can cover this in one go. This person doesn't know. Oh, AC is not working. That is not working. There is no water. There is no notepad. So they'll find out fault with something or the other. And what you need to do, if they're talking at the back, not talking to you, just address, try, reiterating that please don't talk amongst yourselves. Let's share with the room. If you do that once or twice, I'm sure they will stop doing that if you address them directly. But if they share the, complaints in public, like saying, Seema fan is not working, Seema audio is not working or whatever. So you acknowledge the complaint. If you think this can be corrected and this is reasonable, do that. Ask somebody to help, ask for a coordinator or somebody in the room, ask for that to be corrected. If not possible, then you ask them to wait until the end of the session so that you can cover it later. Okay. And then you have the final one, know it all. And this is where it gets very difficult because they know, they have the experience. Sometimes they have the experience because they're senior people. So you may feel, oh, how do I, stop this person? The person maybe whatever you said, they might just want to add on top of that because they know more about it, or they just say, oh no, I don't think you're right. There's something else. So you need to ensure first of all, you don't need to get into argument or be rude to them. You need to get into a situation where you can win it, both sides, right? How you do that, you say, okay, I acknowledge, but at the same time, this is what I know right now. We can check it and later come back. Or sometimes you just want to say, okay, wait, but we will add, maybe if you have additional points to add, you can maybe put it on the note and we'll cover that in the best practices later on. So try to address in a way that may not put that person feel, okay, yeah, this person is not, don't want me to talk, but at the same time, acknowledge that their experience might come to your help. So you also not expert, but that person also may not be expert, but do want to share. There is another concept of parking lot. I'm sure all of you would have heard. People, if they ask too many questions in between and you think that is disturbing your flow, and sometimes people can get difficult in that way as well. You may want people to write their question in the parking lot. If you think that slide is yet to come, or you want to take those questions now later, if based on the time. So you may request people, you put a flip chart or a corner whiteboard, whichever works for you, or a paper pen somewhere if those both are not available. Make a parking lot there, write it parking lot, and ask people to put their questions there. And you'll address either when we come to those slides or we'll cover towards the end of the session. I'll take a pause and see if this makes sense. And if anybody wants to share any other trait or any other behavior, any other way of managing that audience. Thank you, Pawan, for the thumbs up. All right. Now, there was another learning needs to know the do's and don'ts of the meeting. So here we are. Like we all said, be in the room at least 30 minutes in advance. This is my recommendation for TLTP at least. And if you can go earlier than that, nothing like that. What is the don't? Don't leave it only with the coordinators, right? Even if you're in the room, if they say, okay, room is getting ready, try to check things in advance. Let's say, you are preparing your content in next 3-4 days. So know what all logistics you would need. Make sure you have requested that, and don't assume anything. Like I said earlier, don't assume that, oh, there'll be projector for sure, or there will be clicker, or there will be notepad. Whatever you think you would need, ask, go 30 minutes in advance, check all of that, and then if you see something missing, ask the coordinators. Don't ask coordinator to make sure everything is ready, I'll come 5 minutes in advance to the room. Don't do that. Introduce yourself. When you're in the room, introduce yourself to build your credibility. Tell them that I have done this role and this is my experience, or this is what I've want. But don't spend 10 minutes just introducing yourself as well. So just do a small introduction and then go back. And another thing which I've seen in TLTP, we try to do introduction of all the participants in the room, and that takes away a lot of time, especially in the trainings of president, VP education, VP membership, VP PR. You have a lot of content, role players, exercise to do. So getting to the introduction at the start of the meeting for everyone may consume a lot of your time. So don't do that for everyone. Because in that case, you will lose time and then you'll have to rush to the training. The trick for that is tell them that first time you're asking a question, first time you're giving an answer, or first time you are saying anything in the room, you can introduce yourself. For example, I know all of you, otherwise I would have asked while you're asking a question, while you're saying something, please introduce yourself, who you are, which club, and then how many years, what's your first time or second time. If you want to do a gap analysis, you can ask them to write it quickly on the board or somewhere, so you get that data somewhere to just look at. But the exercise should not take 30 minutes at the start of the introduction. At the same time, don't turn your back on the audience. I've seen some speakers who are great speakers, orators, but what they do, they will continue to talk and just go back to the board and slide again and again while they're talking. So especially when you're talking, don't turn your back on the audience. That's a big no-no as a trainer, even as a speaker. Know your content well. You already told that. When you know your content well, it sometimes gets very easy that, oh, you just want to walk through the slides quickly and just tell them everything from the slide. So don't just swipe through the slides. Like I said, bring variation, have use cases, questionnaires, role play, and all of that. So don't have just slides that you are going to swipe through. Plan the session well, so that you don't have to rush through the session. So don't rush through the session, and that will only be possible if you have planned it well. Like how much time on each slide, what exercise to do, how many groups to make, and all of that. Use humor if possible, or make it little light. Don't make it too serious, and don't take yourself too serious. It's okay to take it easy and casual sometime. Ask effective question. Can somebody tell me what is the difference between just a question or maybe effective question? Asking a question is an art, and why? Anybody?
Question which leads to the point explanation, I think.
Okay.
So that probably can emphasize the point which we are trying to explain during the training.
Okay, so you want to ask the question so that the answer reach to the point that you're trying to explain or reach to. Okay. Anybody else? Pawan?
Questions which will bring multiple perspectives.
To bring multiple perspectives. Okay. Seema?
Yeah, any question which opens up the conversation or invites insights, that is an effective question.
Yeah. So ask question in a way, either it reaches to a answer that you want them to reach to, or it spurs a discussion like women said, so that people get different perspectives out there as well. Don't ask blank question which may or may not reach to a question. And don't provide all answers yourself. What does that mean? For example, if there's a silence in the room, which happened few times here in the room as well, have patience. Don't try to jump. Okay, if nobody's answering, let me answer. Have patience. People might be thinking, people might be anticipating that they should answer or not, whether the answer is right or wrong. So give them time. And if still you're not getting, ask anybody to share the answer if they think they know the answer, or ask a direct question. For example, I picked Madhura last time. I'm now picking Beman or Pawan, though they are trying to answer. So either you wait, or you ask somebody to answer, or you pick somebody to answer. And if the answer is correct, great. If not, then you anyways will add. So you don't have to answer immediately, and so don't panic in a silent situation at all. Show respect and concern towards everyone in the room. People might have different backgrounds, different experience, different understanding of Toastmasters. So don't just judge anybody. Respect towards the person's ideas, questions, answers, and just the presence. And don't believe you're the only expert in the room. I know a lot of great trainers in the room right now. So I'm trying to ask them a question. I'm relying on them to share more insights, and if they can, because you might have done it 10 times. There might be something new you can learn from the audience. You can learn from somebody else who have done it differently. So there might be other experts in the room. They might hijack, but at the same time, you need to bring balance and saying, okay, this is my experience. Do you have any other experience that you want to share? So have that kind of balance in the room. I'll take a pause and say if there's any other do's and don'ts anybody else would like to share. Did I miss anything? Yeah, go ahead, Sushil.
I will suggest to smile, because when we smile, automatically our audience, they smile back to us. So the neuron mirroring that actually takes place. You can practice this.
Brilliant,
God
brilliant
has
point.
gifted you, sir. God has gifted you this naturally, Maybe he has sent you with a smiling face. Not everybody is like that, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's why practice comes into picture as well, right? So mirroring effect is very, very common, not a common, factual thing, that if you do something, people try to mirror, and then, the retention power is also more. So if you smile, people automatically get engaged before even start talking. So engagement tool, smiling is a very powerful engagement tool. Yes, Rajen.
Never talk negative about the time, that we don't have time, we have to finish this fast.
Absolutely.
Let us speed up. We have planned our session, so let us go with that speed and finish on time.
Yep. This line, right? Oh gosh, we are out of time. If you don't have question, let's go. Or trying to rush through the slides. Big no. Brilliant point, Rajendra. So try not to do that. And that reminds me, before I come to Tej, do not talk about anybody else also negative. Oh, this person did not do that. This club did not do that. My other club did not do that. Or if you bring any negative energy in the room, it's gonna backfire on you. You know, it's gonna bring everyone's morale down, or people might still start thinking about something they even don't know about. Remember, some people are new to the Toastmasters. Some people are first time XCOM. You don't want to damage their morale by putting up the wrong examples or negative examples by stating negative experience of people or clubs. Okay, big no-no for that. Tej.
I had just a question related to the humor aspect. Like,
Yeah.
how much humor do you expect, like the trainer, to put in just to lighten the mood of the training, or would you recommend not to use any humor?
So I'll say, don't try to interject humor forcefully. That's not the point here, right? What I'm trying to say is keep it light. For example, I'm just talking to you, I'm asking, Sushil said smile, and then we just picked up on that. Heyman came and said, oh, you're God gifted, not everyone. So that was a humor, right? So you're trying to make a subtle humor. Remember, if you're making a humor about a person, that should be yourself and not somebody else in the audience. Don't try to put somebody as a subject for humor in the room who is your audience. Do not try to do that. If you want to put somebody on the spot, that should be yourself. Okay, so that is allowed. At the same time, let it flow. If somebody says, oh yeah, we can do that always, and make fun, mere club mein to hamesha hota hai, and all of that. So that kind of lines you can use, but don't try to force the humor. And you are, like Heman said it, Sushil is God gifted with smile, you are God gifted with humor, which you are very good at, Tej. So use that, but try to remember, it should not make somebody feel insulted or put back. Okay, that's the only thing. But keep it light.
One more question I have is, like,
Yep.
other trainings have a purpose, right? Like, one is targeting DCP, one is targeting certain XCOM roles. But if a trainer wants to do a non-XCOM role training, how should that person go through with the purpose, and how to go up about with the training for a non-executive committee?
Brilliant question. Why do you think we have this training? Let me ask you that question first. Why are you thinking we have this non-XCOM training?
So that you motivate the members to either actively participate in the area or district events, and help them to network with other Toastmasters from other clubs also.
Okay, thank you. Heyman?
Yeah, one of the things I want to ask you, and maybe I'm not sure if it's already covered. I joined a little late. Uh, how do you handle if you see that training is slipping out of your control and there is this super senior person in the audience?
We just covered that. Yeah.
We covered that? Okay.
So yeah, so we covered that, but I'll answer that back. But let me answer Tej's question. Anybody else want to tell me what do you think should be the purpose of non-XCOM training? Or why do we have it?
Let them understand more about the ESCOM as well as Toastmasters, the way of working, and how important it is to get trained. What are the different roles?
Okay, fine.
When we say non-XCOM, which exact training are we referring to?
So there is XCOM training that happens during TLTP. At the parallel, we do non-XCOM training. People who are not in the executive role, but they're attending TLTP. We do training for them.
Yeah.
So the question is, what should be the purpose of that training? Like we have purpose for president training, DCP training, this training. What should be the purpose for that training?
I think this is so for me, this is twofold. One is these guys have come all the way to venue. We have to make it a little bit value for them, deliver some value out of whatever time they are spending, if not money. And and then we can also generate value for ourselves as district by having 20 more people more aware about what Toastmasters is and how it works.
Absolutely. Thanks, Seema. So Tej, like you said, it could be multiple ways. What I would suggest, which I have done in past, and others can pitch in if that's also work for them. So one, you understand the audience, because in this room of non-XCOM, you can have variety of people. Once when I did this training, there were guests as well. There were first time Toastmasters as well. And there were people who were experienced, but not in XCOM role currently. Okay. So what you can do is do cover the basic of Toastmasters, because I'm sure there will be some guest or there'll be one or two definitely new members who are just 6 months old or less than that. So you have to cover basics of Toastmasters, or what is Toastmasters, maybe basic structure like we do in orientation, and then come to why TLTP is happening or what all is happening in TLTP. Second could be you ask them, like I asked why you are here, or you understand what they want to know from you. If you're a Toastmaster who can prepare impromptu, you don't need slide, you can use whiteboard, flip chart. So the purpose of that training is that person who is attending that training should go out of that room learning something new about Toastmasters, about something specific in Toastmasters contest or anything else. So you ask them what they want to learn more about Toastmasters or something in Toastmasters, around Toastmasters. Once you write down those goals on the flip chart, then you see how you can cover those objectives to make valuable for them. Does that make sense, Tej?
Yes, it makes sense.
Yeah. So my final slide before I tell delivery, I know you all expert, but putting participant first, is the key message you need to keep in mind, whether while you're preparing, that whether the slide will make sense for the audience or not. While you're conducting the session, you need to understand whether participants are listening to you, they're interested, not interested. And while receiving feedback also, think that participant did not like it or like it from this angle. And that's how I can improve as a trainer. So everything that you do before, during and after training should be from participants' perspective and not from your perspective. Keep that in mind and think who can be your participants. Now, before I ask if we have more time for question, because I know there might be, delivery is not something I covered exactly, but we covered in the point that how you should not prepare and how you should slide be, where you should stand, where you should not stand, logistics, how to handle difficult audience, and what kind of question you ask. Important point from delivering is that you should not be seem nervous, and that will only happen when you are well prepared. And when you're well prepared, automatically the confidence will come into picture. So that confidence while delivering is important. Do not try to be overconfident, but how it will reflect by being clear in your communication, by delivering the content with the confidence that you know what is the next slide, what is the flow, by showing the enthusiasm, the smile, by sharing the experience in the delivery, and be empathetic, right? That's very important. Don't try to think, oh, they don't even know the simple thing. They don't know, and you should explain that. Okay. Affirm with that humbleness, sincerity. When you know everything, there might be people who know more than that, and keep that in mind. Okay. They may or may not be trying to hijack the meeting or the session, but they are there. So try to give answers, be neutral, ask them for experience and question unless it's prolonged. And every question, like I said, should be with purpose, that you're trying to get some answer out of it and add value. And of course, everything should be supported with the content out there. With that, I'll stop presenting and see if you have any question. And I have in the appendix some ways of doing the icebreaker activities if you have to do in the session or later, because some of the rooms can have extra time. But it's up to you. I can share more details after the training as well. With that, any question in the room? Or Colonel Uday, if I can have few questions, please let me know. So put participant first, and these are some of the icebreaker ideas. Okay, Madhura, go ahead.
So how much time can we allocate in the initial stage for either introduction of the participants or for the icebreaker activity?
Like I said, try to limit once you make your own module while you are preparing a content. For example, if you're giving president training, I think it's very, very difficult to take out time for anything other than content. So 10-minute max. So you can either have a 10 minutes quick exercise for icebreaker, or you can ask them to put something on the board together. So you have the introduction, or the best way, like I said, to get introduction, but not spend time extra is tell them when you're talking for the first time in the room, introduce yourself, your name, club, and something unique about them.
Okay.
But if you're in
Yes.
a room where the material not going to take more than an hour, you can spend even extra time going through introduction in the starting individually as well.
Okay. Got it.
It depends on
Thank you.
your material.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Just one point I would like Seema you to address. Sometimes the participant asks the questions and trainer is not able to answer that question. So what should he do if you can address this?
Absolutely. We touched upon it, but if we don't know the answer, it's absolutely fine. Like I said, we don't know, and there are so many things in Toastmasters that we need to know. I learned a lot of things while preparing for this session as well. So first of all, acknowledge that, okay, I don't know the answer. If somebody else in the room know the answer, if somebody else in the room know the answer, they will share. And then, you don't have to mark it with the right or wrong answer. Let them share. But you can always, if you don't get the answer in the room, you don't know the answer, acknowledge I don't know, and I'll come back to it. And you should definitely go back, get the answer, and give it to that person or maybe to the entire audience back, either through WhatsApp or over the lunch or network or any other opportunity.
Thank you very much. Why I asked, because sometimes trainers feel hesitant and they give an answer which is not expected, which is incorrect. So they should not do it. Accept it. I'll come back to you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We are human, right? And we should be vulnerable. If you are vulnerable, the audience will also be. So mirroring effect, which we just learned from Sushil. Any other question? Okay, there was one person who did not talk, or maybe I did not ask the question. Aditya, did you find the training useful?
Hey, hi, Seema. Sorry about that. I'm driving. I love the session, especially I'm gonna even steal one of your ideas on the icebreaker topics. I wanted to just add one thing. I remember you asked the question of what is one thing that you would like to address in a training, and I've had the privilege to also give a few trainings before at DLDP. And one thing I would like to say is, at the end of the day, one should go and enjoy the process. It's Toastmasters at the end of the day, and it's a learning process for both.
Yeah,
Just like
absolutely.
as a two-way communication process, at the same time it's also a learning process both ways, and I'm sure it's something which any trainer cherishes. And take feedback. Yes, please take feedback and pull up the feedback forms, and I think that's a gold mine for you to improve. So thanks a lot.
Great point.
Great time, and I will definitely be stealing a lot of ideas from this session.
Great. Thank you so much, Aditya. And it's not possible to cover everything. Like I said, there's so many great trainers in this room. Also, there are Train the Trainer is actually a 3 days workshop if we have to do it properly and make somebody a trainer. But covering in 1.5, I tried to put the points that will be useful for you in the TLTP. But I may have missed out. So do prepare well. And if you get across any question, anybody in the room you can reach out, including me, and happy to help as well. I wish you all a best for your training, which is going to happen next weekend, I assume. And rock as a trainer and take feedback and improve, continue to grow. With that, thank you so much for your time and listening to me. Back to you, Kanalode and Sushil.
Thank you very much, DTM Seema, for that wonderful insights. So every time when you attend a session, you learn from the trainer or you learn from the participants. And I'm sure this will definitely help the